Brain Candy Podcast, episode 778. Here we are.
Honestly, not feeling so great.
She is not feeling great today.
I got a tummy bug.
But you know what? She came anyway, because you know why? She's a professional.
I am a professional. The show must go on, as they say. So
terrible.
I am here. It's funny because I think what I'm experiencing and what even this show is a little bit of a example of something that I'm going to talk about coming up. The difference between enjoyment and pleasure.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Look forward to that.
So although this is not a pleasurable experience, it is an enjoyable one.
Okay, I hear you.
Yes.
Interesting.
But besides my tummy troubles, things are good over here. How are things in your neck of the woods?
Things are good. Yeah, I guess this is a lesson again on like, don't be optimistic about the new year because Sarah's got a stomach bug.
Yeah, it is.
You know, we never learn.
Yeah.
But we gotta have lower standards.
And it feels like as somebody who was in Mexico for so long and managed to go throughout with very little to no tummy troubles. As soon as I get home, I get that.
Payback.
And it won't go away. What the hell?
Your body doesn't know what to do when you're not on vacation now.
Maybe that's it. Oh my God. I also, I was like, this is my punishment. I went on too many vacations. I had too much fun.
That'll teach you.
That's what'll teach you.
Stay in your bunker.
New Year, I'm just staying home, just doing a lot of stretching. I'm doing great on that, by the way. And even just thinking about that and setting it and saying it out loud, this is the year of stretching. And I keep saying that like, oh, year of stretching. It makes it so it, I don't know, encourages me to get up and do it. And even Eli will be like, you're stretching. We'll just like do it more frequently because now we even have something to say to. You're
creating a habit.
Yeah, I guess so. That is what's happening. So
that's great.
You know, shout out to year of stretching.
Yes.
Okay, should we dive right in? I've got some fun stuff to talk about.
Okay.
And I think we should start exactly where I was talking about before.
Yeah, what is the scoop on this?
Yeah, so I read a really cool article in The Atlantic that was discussing how sometimes we use the words pleasure and enjoyment like interchangeably. But how if we really break that down and if we really look at what the definition of each is, they are very different. And how in order to have a fulfilling life where we don't just feel like we're on that hedonic treadmill where we're seeking like pleasure and then we get it and then we just wind up back with disappointment and like, you know, you're just like stuck in that, on that, you know, cycle. That when we seek things that are enjoyable, that is where, I don't know, the real like zest of life and all the good stuff.
Is it sort of like fulfillment and meaning or imbued within?
Sort of. Think about pleasure as something that happens to you and enjoyment as something that you create through your own efforts. For example, we could both eat a slice of pizza and agree that it's pleasurable in eating it. And then afterwards, you're full, so you are satisfied, and therefore it's no longer pleasurable anymore because that feeling of hunger is now gone. But you could just eat it and enjoy the pleasure of it and then be done. Or you can enjoy it while you're eating. Enjoyment usually comes with a memory of the event. It comes with like an understanding of what's going on, like mindfulness in a way.
Yeah, so pleasure would be more fleeting and temporal. Yes.
Like pleasure is the lightheadedness you get from a bit of alcohol. Enjoyment is the satisfaction of a good glass of wine, properly understood.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like savoring.
Right.
Yeah, there's greater depth.
Greater depth with it. It feels like, yeah, greater depth, and it's more sustainable. Like it lasts longer. Pleasure, like you said, is very fleeting. It's very quick. It's here and then it's gone. And this also explains having to do things that are not enjoyable so much in the moment.
Yes.
Like the one that's so easy to think about is exercise.
Absolutely.
And working out.
Meditating.
Right? Yeah, everything. This is exactly what we talk about so often on here.
Mm-hmm. It's a shame that it can't, like, you can't train yourself to get there with it all and then be done. Like, it's a very, like I always say, life is so daily.
Yeah.
I'm like, not this again.
It is this again. It's always this again.
It's always.
And that is because the pleasure is, it's got to be a totally different area of your brain too. I mean, not totally different, but I would imagine that there are other things involved. The article did not go into depth on this, but I wish it did, talking about when something is just pleasurable, like, you know, eating a piece of chocolate, and you're not practicing the mindfulness of thinking about what it feels like and having like a full sensory experience. Maybe it's just the dopamine that you're getting from it, but not, I don't know, some other stuff.
Right. But it's real tempting if you're ravenous to go for it.
Because it's fast. It's like the instant, the McDonald's hamburger.
I'm glad you're including recording with me under your enjoyment category.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what I was thinking, because I'm like, although sitting here, not so pleasurable at the moment because I'm fighting this bug inside my tummy. Yeah. But also, can adults without children say tummy? Because I've noticed I've said that. And then the other day at the airport, I pointed to the bathroom and I was like, do we have to go potty first? And I was like, whoa,
oh no, that's pushing it.
Whoa, Sarah. Whoa.
Where did that come from?
I honestly don't fucking know. I was like, whoa. That was a mistake. Didn't mean to do that. I must have seen a child in my peripheral vision or something that made my brain go there.
Right.
I felt very embarrassed for myself in the moment.
Those words are so funny.
Yeah.
Just the way we talk to kids is so silly.
Yeah. And I did it to Bo too. And anytime you walk somebody else's dog, this is a total change of subject, but anytime you walk somebody else's dog, or like you go for a walk with somebody with a dog, everybody has their unique thing that they say to the dog
to make them to go to the bathroom.
Yes.
What did you say? What was your signature move?
Okay, go potty. Let's go potty.
And like, what are some of the other ones?
Eli's mom with their dog, their family's dog, says, "Okay, go make." Let's go make.
I have always been fascinated by that phrase.
Yeah, like, because you're not saying the disgusting part.
Yeah, what? Oh, is that, do you think that where it came from?
Yeah, because you're not finishing the sentence.
Yeah, but what would the end of that sentence be?
Poo-poo.
Go make poop?
Go make a BM. Go make a bowel movement. Go to the bathroom. Go.
Yeah,
so
what
like
if
that.
I got a dog and that's what I said. Like, go move your bowels.
Oh.
So gross.
Dimitri Martin, like, you know, the comedian Dimitri Martin has a whole bit that he does about what if we lengthen words that shouldn't be lengthened. Like, he said, what if okay was really short for okie dokie, and instead of saying okay, you'd be like okie dokie, and how that, like, a doctor performing surgery would be like okie dokie, time to operate, time to come up. Like, in certain situations, it would be very funny.
Yes, maybe we should do that just for fun, just for some novelty,
fun. Just for some enjoyment.
Yeah, for some long term, not fleeting enjoyment.
Yes. Okay, back to that topic to just give you a little bit more information on it, what the book said, or what this article said. The article had a quote from the book Flow, The Psychology of the Optimal Experience, which was such a good book. We've talked about it on here before. Yeah. It said that enjoyment gives you a sense of effort, forward movement, and accomplishment. And we've talked about this on the podcast, that anything that you get, anything that, like, I've asked clients this before when like, what's the point of hard work kind of thing? And I'll ask them, like, what's the thing that you are most proud of yourself for? What's your, what's your favorite moment? None of them were things that didn't come without hard work and effort. Right. No one has ever said something where it was like, well, I don't know. I don't even know.
Yeah, like winning the lottery can bring you a lot of pleasure, but you would argue maybe less enjoyment.
Yes, that you'd have to put effort into turning the pleasurable moment of winning the lottery into something that brought you enjoyment. Yeah. That what you did, making a lot of money, doesn't necessarily bring enjoyment. It's what you do and the effort that you put forth and the knowledge of how to use it to create enjoyment.
I don't know, man, though. A lot of people that inherit money seem to be enjoying the hell out of it.
This is true. But I would also argue that the baseline, like they're like high highs, low lows. Mm-hmm. You know, I have had a little bit of a peek into a little teeny tiny bit of that world with what my ex-husband did for work and being in like the high-end wine industry and seeing people were not happier with a bunch of money. The levels of the things that and the disappointments were the same. Mm-hmm. You know, it almost was like easier to be disappointed because the expectation was so high.
More money, more problems.
Exactly.
Expectations are a scourge. They are a huge problem. And that's why everyone's freaking miserable all the time. Because they expect life to be like it is on Instagram.
That is exactly, this article also talks about the problem of sharing these moments and what happens when you, I don't know, like try to advertise the enjoyment. Mm-hmm. If you try to advertise the enjoyment like actually goes down. Yes. Yes.
I'll tell you,
it was like a reduction of like 11%.
Man, that's good to know, actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
What I get pleasure from and enjoyment is mosh bars.
100%. So good. Let me tell you, I love mosh bars, but I do not like when Eli dives into them. Mm-hmm. Whenever he dives into a product that is one of our sponsors and I don't have my camera out, and then he goes, "Oh my God, this is delicious." And I'm like, "God damn it. I asked for one thing." Very little in life. I'm not a needy girlfriend. But what I do need is for you to say, "Hey, I'm about to try this thing. Maybe you should take your phone out because I might have a great reaction." And now I just have, right? So have you seen the IRL reaction? You would see him, the look of shock and amaze. Right. Instead, you have to take my word for it. No, don't take my word for it. Try it yourself. Get the variety pack.
I'm pretty psyched. The lemon one. Tastes like a lemon bar. You know those dessert things?
It's candy.
Yeah. So good. I'm just glad all these people are embracing this like stuff that's great for your brain.
Yeah.
Like ashwagandha, lion's mane, all those things that they help with cognition and encourage, brain health. And they are sweeping the nation. And I'm psyched about it because this noggin needs all the help it can get. And I love that it's, as you know, from the Schwarzenegger family and Maria Shriver and how her family inspired them to have the mission of brain health and wellness. So they donate proceeds to the Women's Alzheimer Movement of Cleveland Clinic. What's not to love about that?
Yes.
They're tasty as heck. Don't settle for mediocre snack when you can nourish your body and mind with the fuel it needs to succeed. So whether you're at the gym, on the go, just living your best life, Mosh protein bars will keep your brain and body fit, fueled, and feeling good. Head to moshlife.com/braincandy to save 20% off, plus free shipping on your first 6-count trial pack. That's 20% off, plus free shipping on your first 6-count trial pack. It includes all 6 mouthwatering flavors, MOSHLIFE.com/braincandy.
Yes. Yes. So what we were talking about with the presenting the, I don't know, perfect life or whatever, the article called it enjoyment theater. How people are like, oh, look at my enjoyment. Like when you turn it into enjoyment theater, it takes away the happiness that it is supposed to deliver. And I was a little bit off. The study that was done by the Journal of Consumer Research it was a study in the Journal of Consumer Research by the students at the University of Pennsylvania that chronicled their holiday experience with photos, and then they voluntarily shared their photos on social media, and those who did experienced 8% less happiness than those who kept their photos for their own memories. And the researchers said that this happens because sharing the photos online creates this pressure to present oneself in a positive light, which is bad for happiness.
Okay. So like the anxiety or whatever that you get from thinking like, is this picture good enough? Yes. Or does this look cute enough? Will because people like it?
It's almost like, now that I even hear you say that, it then takes the enjoyment out of something that you are engaging in and actively participating in to then, what do other people think about what I'm doing? And we may have very different, anybody who's heard this episode, any podcast episode before, knows that Susie and I have very different ideas of enjoyable activities. And the things and my posting of pictures in the POW would bring me like enjoyment. But if I thought, oh no, is Susie going to think that this is
I wish
enjoyable?
You did think that. I wish you did. That did cross your mind ever.
I would post less. Exactly. That's so funny. So they also said that enjoyment can be ruined by a worldview that's excessively practical when we feel like time shouldn't be wasted. So we have this idea of almost like condemning leisure time, looking at it as time wasted, when really the things that bring us the most enjoyment are usually the things that are those leisurely activities where there's no point, there's no, well, with the exception of this podcast, because enjoyable and beneficial. So but like we often label those things as like not productive because it's like not a good use of time when we imagine how other people would, I don't know, critique
Fuck those guys.
Leisurable. Yeah, fuck those guys.
I've heard enough out of them.
I know. So you say you get a sitter's high, which is like, according to this article, a real thing.
It's so funny.
Right? It's like your leisure activity that brings you enjoyment. And,
I swear to you, there is not a night that goes by where I lay my head on my pillow and I don't think, oh, I love this bed. Like I get so happy, and I'm like, I always thank God every night for my bed, because I'm like, I am so lucky that I get to do this every day.
That's a beautiful practice of gratitude.
It just happens. It's not like I'm trying to do it. I'm just always like, wow, this is great.
This is so great.
For real.
I did feel that crawling into my sleep sack where I'm like, oh man, why didn't I take this on?
It's so soothing.
I should have this at all times. I should live in this.
We're so lucky that we get to sleep.
It's the best. The older I get, the more I want to do it. And then when it's taken away from me, I'm like, raging.
Yeah, you and me both.
Yes. So I guess some people could consider sleep a wasteful activity, but
yeah, this is all very much in the capitalistic worldview.
Yeah. This article also said that people who consider activities such as hanging out with friends wasteful enjoy activities 12% less than those who consider them to be productive. So that's huge. If you're a bah humbug Scrooge McDuck who's like, you should be working and hanging out with friends is a waste of time, then guess what? For you, it fucking is.
Yeah, dummy.
But if you're somebody who's like, no, this is good.
We don't want to hang out with you anyway.
Right.
Weirdo. Go work.
Exactly. Go work.
Yeah, it is like Scrooge.
It is. It's like, we got to have that balance of enjoyment, because then what's it all for, you know?
Yeah, ding dong. Come on.
Right.
Let's have a laugh. Calm down.
Yeah. So basically enjoy. There's a book that was written by a German philosopher called Leisure, the Basis of Culture. And he writes that leisure is only possible when a man is at one with himself. So we have to be at one with ourselves in order to be able to enjoy leisurely activities. And so maybe that's like where you start.
All right. I like that. Thank you for this advice.
Yeah. Yeah. I once had a therapist tell me when I was like sad about being alone, she was like, what if you didn't think of it as being alone and you thought about it as being with yourself? And it's like, well, you wouldn't say I'm sad about being with myself. Well, then have better. You should enjoy hanging out with you. If you don't like hanging out with you, how the heck is anybody else going to?
I won't reveal the identity of who said this and to whom, but there was a therapist who called masturbation solitary sex.
Yeah. Solo
and
sex.
It sounds like that.
Yeah.
Is that what they tell you people to call it? Because that's ridiculous.
No, I wouldn't call it that.
And
I would call it
that.
solo pleasure or something.
Even that. Why are we euphemizing things? Like, it's masturbation. Just say that.
It's just, like instead of saying the word masturbation, they're like, engaging in like
solitary sex.
Nope. No, just say masturbate. What are we doing here? What are you doing?
I know.
I feel like people are going to push back on my
but it's not. It isn't solitary sex. That's an oxymoron.
Why?
Because you have to have more than one person.
Right. Oh, you mean like sex in and of itself is a two-person thing? Like saying,
yes.
I see. This is a jumbo shrimp situation where sex is two people.
Yeah, at least. A minimum of two people.
George Michaels would say.
If there's only one, it's called something else. And
it's called masturbation.
Yeah.
Correct. I see.
Yeah,
you're right.
I don't even think it's my opinion. I think I'm just saying words mean things.
Yes, I think that this is a very good point. And I feel like we're going to get people who push back on that and say like solo sex is a fine word. So maybe we'll have people who push back and say it's fine if you call masturbation solo sex. Well, maybe sometimes you have been engaging in some solitary sex, and maybe whether you're doing that or regular sex or any kind of activity, you need to stay hydrated.
Gotta stay hydrated.
We have Liquid IV to do that.
Yes, we do. It's a new year, new you, same you. Who knows? But you could be a hydrated you. Yes. Come on.
I know everybody in my family is because they all got them in their stockings.
Yeah, it's such a great thing to have on hand in your purse or in your car or after the gym. And you can get all that hydration with a little bit of powder in your water, one stick, 3 times the electrolytes of the leading sports drink, no artificial sweeteners, zero sugar in those ones. I love those. 8 vitamins and nutrients for everyday wellness, non-GMO, and free from gluten, dairy, and soy. Revive yourself for the new year. Grab your Liquid IV Hydration Multiplier sugar-free in bulk nationwide at Costco, or get 20% off your first order when you go to liquidiv.com and use code CANDY at checkout. That's 20% off your first order when you shop Better Hydration today and use promo code CANDY at liquidiv.com.
I also think we're going to have people who push back on this, but it's another article that I read in the Atlantic or a reader. It was like reader views. And I thought it was really interesting, this debate. And I don't know which side I pick yet, but I think there are pros and cons. The argument or the question that was posed is, please tell me your views on gender-divided social spaces.
Okay.
What do you think? How do you feel about gender-divided social spaces?
I'm fine with it.
I am too.
Oh, okay. I thought we were going to have a fight maybe.
I see. No, not like and I thought the Atlantic did such a good job of and let me be specific. This is the author who asked for thoughts on all male and all female social spaces. So specific of those genders. And then, had replies from people across the board where some people said that for religious reasons that it felt really good to have those separated because of how different genders were viewed in religion. And there was in certain religions, and there was some safe space when there could be segregated spaces, like gender segregated spaces. Then there were people who said, there was a man who wrote about being on an all men's volunteer committee, like they do, like nonprofit volunteer stuff that they do. And he said that he is often aware of how men, and himself included, use their power and their privilege in co-ed spaces. And he recognizes the ways that he's held himself back to allow a female voice to be heard, but he doesn't have to do that in the all male spaces. And then a woman who went to an all female college said that her idea of gender is so different than a lot of her female friends who went to co-ed schools, because there were smaller boxes for women to fit into in the co-ed schools, where the idea of what a woman should be or what a girl on campus should be was not very, there wasn't a big range. There wasn't it's just I don't know, more like the cheerleader type or whatever. And how at her all girls school, you had girls who were the jock, girls who were shy, girls who were outgoing, girls who it was everything. How you had very butch, very femme, very it was, you saw a wider range of different types of women across the spectrum, where women didn't feel like they had to fit into this one box. And I thought that was an interesting argument.
Are some people lobbying for these to be lessened or eradicated?
Yeah, I think that some people say, that this is, I think a big one is Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts, where we should allow it to be co-ed, or there should be.
Well, I guess those are two different questions, though. Remember when they started letting women into the Citadel, for example, the formerly all-male military academy, and people get real worked up. And I don't know, it's one thing to legally exclude people.
That's a very fair point to put on.
Yeah, Boy Scout. I mean, sure, if a girl wants to be in the Boy Scouts or whatever, I don't think that's a problem. But I think what I'm arguing is there can be value in being in a group that's homogenous sometimes.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if you're underrepresented or a marginalized group.
Yeah.
It can be really helpful to be alone with those other people. It's a shared safe space or whatever.
Totally. And I think even
baby showers are the exception. No thanks. Go ahead.
That's where you're nope, that's where I draw the line.
Yeah. Those should be illegal.
And sometimes things that just are implied gendered spaces, but not officially announced as this is all female or all male or whatever.
What would be an example of that?
Our book club.
Oh, yeah.
Because what ends up happening are the males who are in are super awesome, and all the ones who you'd want to be in that space anyway, who are sure, we'll allow it, So I read this, and I as I was reading the article and reading all of the different responses, I just thought it was so interesting, interesting to hear how those spaces, having them or not having them, affected different people in different gender identities, and how it is kind of this thing we go back and forth on. And I can see maybe, I don't know, this kind of seems like a Gen Z kind of thing of there are no genders and let's get rid of them. But I really value the times where it is all women's.
Yeah, that's why whenever I go into a unisex bathroom, I'm not happy. I don't want to be with those weirdos in there.
No, I'm good.
Privacy, please.
Yeah.
But I got to accept it, I think, because these times are a changing. But it does frighten me if I see a group of white straight men by them, like only that. Like bad things happen. They start raping each other. And
terrifying.
Like bad crimes happen.
Yeah.
Felonies happen when there are no women or minorities around.
That is totally true.
Yeah. Like prison,
absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Football teams or like fraternities.
Yeah.
Like, maybe you guys need a chaperone.
Yeah. That's a really interesting point that they did
just
not
everyone else
mention.
Yeah, right. Because you're talking about marginalized communities and
yes,
how it can be
am.
Yes, restorative and helpful. Well, guess what? When we leave those animals alone.
Yeah. There were also women who were saying that, it went both ways, like with the religion argument of like, one woman said that the religious spaces for men were so beautiful and grand, and the women got thrown into this little tiny rec room in the back.
It's so true. It's like a broom closet.
Yeah,
yeah, I know.
They get the fancy spaces
for sure.
Yeah,
it isn't even separate but equal.
Right. That's exactly what she said. She was like, "So separate but equal is not a real thing. It's not." Yeah. So, So enjoy that. It's in the Atlantic. It's titled Reader Views on Gender Divided Social Spaces by Connor Friedersdorf.
Yeah.
Friedersdorf.
Mm-hmm.
You know who that is? Yeah.
Yeah, I know his work on the Atlantic.
Yeah.
He's an interesting fellow.
Yeah. It feels kind of like this was like a pull the grenade and drop the pin.
That's his specialty.
And drop the grenade. And then
that's what he does.
Slowly. Yeah, that's what it felt like. So I'm like, ooh, this is a good one.
Yeah, he's conservative.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You can. Okay. Well, I thought it was a balanced view for somebody who is conservative. Then.
Okay.
Okay.
One thing we can all agree on, conservative and liberal, men, women, is you want to smell good, and now we all do, thanks to Lumi deodorant. Dun, da, da, da.
Lumi, sponsoring all of my outdoor adventures and indoor adventures during this holiday season.
And let's face it, we all stink, and some people stink from all different areas of their body. And the beauty of Lumi is you can put it anywhere.
I know you listeners have children, have little boys. Mm-hmm. I know what their feet smell like. There's that weird sour smell that comes from, what is that? So just rub those little piggies, and they could be like, "Oh, I don't want to take a shower." That's fine. Give me your feet.
Yeah,
rub in some Lumi. That cream, just a little bit, all you need. All the spaces, everywhere, in between the thighs. Yep, under boob. Yep. I get it like lower on my armpit. Like it's the space between my armpit and my boob that it's just everywhere.
You can put it there. It blocks odor all day, controls odor for up to 72 hours. It is paraben free. It's proven to control odor better than a shower with soap alone. Lumi Starter Pack is perfect. You're going to love it. They have a deal. As a special offer for listeners, new customers get $5 off a Lumi Starter Pack with code BRAINCANDY5 at LumiDeodorant.com. That equates to over 40% off your starter pack when you visit LumiDeodorant.com and use code BRAINCANDY5. And that starter pack is like a bar, cream, wipes, so you can try all the different applications. Yes. And you'll see what we're talking about.
And this is good because you don't want to be using the same one on your armpits that you're using on your butt.
Yeah. You get one for every area.
Yeah.
Alrighty. As you were.
Okay. We talked about that. We talked about gender spaces. Oh, this is interesting. Turns out there is something strange going on with wildflowers.
I smell trouble.
Yeah, well, smell, it's funny you say that. Flowers are now smaller, produce less nectar, and are even being visited less often by insects like bees.
Why?
Yeah. So obviously because of climate change and the lack of insect pollinators, there's been this big collapse in, well, kind of like the insect world. Like we have less insects than we need to pollinate. And as a result, what has happened is the flower populations are not relying on bees as much to pollinate. They've changed the way that they pollinate. And because they don't need to attract bees and insects as much, they're not spending as much energy making brightly colored flowers. Instead, they're using a different kind of pollination called selfing.
No.
Oh!
They're having solitary sex?
Oh my God. Did we just make this full circle somehow connect?
We should call masturbation pollination.
Yeah, because that's called
Sounds
selfing.
nicer.
So pollination
Selfing.
by insects is the most common form of plant pollination. We know that one. And over 80% of all populations or 80% of flowering plant species rely on bees or moths or other insects to fertilize their seeds. But now what they're doing is this self-fertilizing where they are like basically selfing. That's exactly what they're calling it.
Oh my God.
They just like release their own pollen and the flowers next door get it. There were four populations of field pansies growing near Paris, France were compared to those grown in a laboratory from seeds collected between 1992 and 2001. And they compared them, and using genetic analysis and behavioral tests with pollinators, they observed the appearance of the flowers smaller. They were 10% smaller, produced 20% less nectar, and were less visible or less visited by pollinators than plants grown from the older seeds.
I feel like they should rethink this then.
What do you mean?
I think the flowers are, giving up.
Well, yeah. Well, this is what they're saying is,
they're like
really dangerous in a way that it's very dangerous that they're doing it because this creates this like death spiral of
right.
Because what happens is the rapid change of the plants is because of the decline in the insect population. And now they think that this cycle could then cause the plants to produce less nectar, which then gives the insects less stuff to eat, which then kills more of the insect population, causing further decline. Bad.
This is not good. They're incels.
No, it's very bad.
These flowers are like living in their parents' basements.
Yes. And they're like, you know what? We give up.
Watching flower porn.
Nobody's coming anymore.
Do you think flower porn is like those, those things that you blow on and make a wish?
Oh, yeah. Like dandelions?
Yeah.
And then they lose all their petals. And then they're like naked.
Do it slower.
Or do you think it's like their striptease is like when they're coming out of the bud?
Yeah, totally.
And they're like,
they're blooming. Yeah, when the sun comes out.
Shake it. Yeah.
Totally.
That's what it would look like.
Flowers, they're giving up. They should go on Flower Tinder.
And it does make me feel even worse about picking the wildflowers. Really can't. Like, we really can't. They really do need them. Like, I get it.
They're so pretty, though.
I know. They sure are. When we were in Mexico, I was walking along the beach, and one of the beaches we went to had no shells, and this other beach we go to had a bunch of shells. And I was like, oh, look, this one, I made a comment on how the beach originally, the first one had none. And I can't believe there are no shells at this beach. And so the new beach, Eli's like, oh, are you going to like find one? And I was like, you know what?
You're spooked.
I am a leave only footprints, take only memories.
Leave no trace.
Like I have crossed over because now I think this is some little animal's home. So instead I just picked up trash.
I think that's good.
It is good.
It's hard to resist.
It is good, but it feels like saying goodbye. Like I have to grieve this like
your hobby
that it was like, we've even talked about this on the podcast, how there's a thing that little girls go through where they collect like little rocks, and there's like a phase of life where they do this. It's usually around like 5, 6, 7, 8, but I never grew out of it. And like, I just it brought me a lot of like feelings of comfort of like, here's my little rock collection or something.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, well,
yeah. Well, I guess it would be like
home.
Gatherers, right? This is the supposed.
Like I've grown out of that. This is probably like one step closer to death or something like that. Like giving up.
That's the spirit.
Like something like
Boy, 2024, it took a dark turn already. Gosh. One step closer
maybe it's
to
like
death.
Understanding that like it's not all about me. It's not about collecting it for me, that somebody else needs this. And
well, because you're still enjoying them. You're just
I am
taking them.
I'm not getting the pleasure out of taking it, but I am enjoying looking at them, I suppose.
I'm enjoying looking at my cats eat all their Smalls cat food.
It was very cute, that picture you posted of Adam with the cat.
Can you believe? I mean, they are very affectionate now, and it is a development since we got Smalls. I don't know if it's causation, but it is correlation. Mm-hmm. And it's so fun. I mean,
wouldn't you like imagine this. You have a friend who every single day shows up to feed you, and all of a sudden
it got
instead of getting like
pretzels.
Yeah. Now you get gourmet meat. You get bird.
Mm-hmm. Yep. They're lucky. They're lucky cats, and yours can be too, because Smalls makes human grade, wonderful cat food that does not smell, which is some kind of miracle. And they donate to help other cats eat as well. It's 2024. Are you still feeding your darn cats kibble? Head to smalls.com/braincandy and use promo code braincandy at checkout for 50% off your first order plus free shipping. That's the best offer you'll find, but you have to use our code braincandy for 50% off your first order. One last time, that's promo code braincandy for 50% off your first order plus free shipping.
Yes.
It's great.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, wildflowers, don't pick them, but they are changing, and maybe we're going to see more things evolve too.
Right.
It's a response
to survive.
To climate change. Yeah. It's pretty scary.
It's very Darwinian.
This is kind of in line with that. I read another article in The Independent that is about how there is a new AI that has been developed that can predict people's time of death with a high degree of accuracy. 11% better than all other models that they've used. This is where the 11% came from. Yes.
I mean, that's what actuaries do.
I don't know what that word is.
Those are those people that are like often mocked for having a boring job, kind of like accountants, but their job is to like put all this data in, like about risk people's lives.
Risk assessment
for insurance companies.
Yeah, that was that guy. Along Came Polly, Ben Stiller's character.
He was an actuary.
Yeah, God, that guy gives me anxiety whenever I see him in.
Why?
Is it Ben Stiller? Yes. Meet the Fockers, Meet the Parents.
What about him though?
He's always doing the wrong thing. It's always like bad. Like I'm just like, this is the worst case. It's always
like, get
the
your
worst.
Life together.
Yeah. Like don't go salsa dancing at a Peruvian restaurant, whatever, and eat spicy food if you got tummy troubles.
Wow. It gives you anxiety.
Yes.
Most
I'm not just thinking
it funny.
I don't. I am too empathetic because I just imagine what he's.
It's like too relatable.
Ben Stiller movies really, really stress me out. So I'm like,
I can see that.
This is no, and there's never like a happy resolution. It feels like it's just like more anxiety, life of more anxiety.
Wait a minute, are we able to use this AI and find out when we're going to die?
That's a good question. I don't know, and I don't know how they are using it. It's the company from Denmark, and they say that this is the part that really made me feel like, yeah, fucking right. They made a big stink in the article, it seemed like they went out of their way to warn that there are ethical issues surrounding the use of it, such as protecting sensitive data. And they stress that they say clearly our model should not be used by an insurance company, because the whole idea of insurance is that by sharing the lack of knowledge of who is going to be the unlucky person struck by some incident or death or losing your backpack, we can kind of share this burden. That insurance companies are built, the whole system is built on this unpredictability of who is going to be the one to draw the
I think they were referring
straw.
to health insurance, because life insurance is built on them.
Yeah, health insurance.
Yeah, they must be talking about, and I would agree.
It says, however, scientists caution that this model should not be used by life insurance firms due to ethical concerns.
That's what they're already doing. Why do you think you have to say whether you smoke or not? Or whether you skydive or whatever. That's how they determine your rates. And
it feels like, yeah, fucking right. This thing was built for insurance companies. Don't say clearly. Anytime you say, well, clearly it shouldn't be for that, my mind is like, clearly that's the best thing that it should be used for, and you're trying to find some backdoor way to do this.
Yeah, they're definitely going to do it, because they are really upset right now, insurance companies, because they are losing money out the wazoo because of climate change.
Oh, yeah.
Because a lot of people bought, let's say you bought a house insurance 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And now risks are so much greater, but, you already have the house and the insurance and all that. And so, like, they keep having to pay out all this money because the rains keep on coming.
Right. The number, they say that, like, the number of category, like, I don't know, 3 and above storms we have has I don't know how many times it's gone up, but a fuck ton. And I didn't think about insurance companies.
Storms.
Like, it's everybody.
Yeah, they're not happy. So they're like, oh, great. A robot will tell me when all these losers are going to die? Yes, please.
Gosh. I think about that and I'm like, what on earth could they be looking at that would tell them when I'm going to die? Because they don't know about cautious adventure, about what did you call it? Controlled aggression.
Right.
They don't know about that. Like, I'm doing risky things, but in the safest way. So some would argue that I'm safer than somebody who's just like walking around like.
When's the last time you filled out the life insurance thing? Do you have life insurance? Get out of town. I guess that makes sense. You don't have kids or anything, so.
No. What's going to happen?
Okay. Well, if you ever get it, I mean, I think they do ask,
I think
like,
I
do you
had
go
it
skiing?
Maybe do you think I had it when I was married? Maybe I do have it, Disneyland.
No, remember you were denied it because
yes, I was.
You're a celebrity.
That was the dumbest thing I ever heard in my whole fucking
I was not denied it, okay? So
it so dumb.
It hurts both ways.
Somebody might be more likely to sue you if you. I'm like, who do you think I am? They actually, I'll never forget. They used the example. Well, somebody would be more likely if somebody rear-ended Leonardo DiCaprio. I was like, do you think that I'm like Leo? Do you think that we're the same? I mean, we are not.
But they do ask about your hobbies and activities, and I think that they will not like yours.
No.
So
now that I've taken up kite surfing too, like, please.
And that you can't even pretend like it's not true because of this whole dog and pony show.
I know. It's like, don't look at my Instagram. Woo. Nothing to see here, folks. Yeah.
I mean, they talked a lot about my time on TV. Are you going to go back? Like, they kept saying, are you going back or are you done with that?
Stop it. What else? Like, they say, so if you participate in wow, high risk.
Yeah.
I'll say that next time they call me to do a show, I'll be like, I can't. Life insurance, too high risk. I can't.
Yeah, like your premium would go up.
My premium will go up for life insurance, so I can't.
Although it's like, if you already have it, you're good to go. It doesn't change. So, suckers. But you.
Yeah, no, I'm not doing that.
If you do get it, can I be your beneficiary?
Sure, why not?
Thanks.
Okay.
Thanks so much. I am your longest relationship.
I know. It'll be fine. I mean, like, you've done the most to help support
I
this
deserve
life.
it.
You do. Yes. So yeah, do you think you're kind of person who would want to know?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You don't want to know?
No.
When you're dying?
No.
Why?
I'm good. I'm just going to keep LIVIN. You know?
For real?
Because I don't think that I would be able to. I think I'd be seeking pleasure over enjoyment if I knew my expiration date.
That's
because
crazy.
I'd be too distracted by the fact that it was.
What if it was 95?
Oh, maybe you're right. Fuck.
You know what I mean?
I know. We did this. We had the same debate when we read the book.
What was that book called?
The Arrival, The String, the
box,
the gift, the box, the gift, the gift.
Maybe. It's a book about a fictional book about how one day everyone on Earth received a box, and inside it was a string, and the length of the string was correlated with the length of your life.
Yes. The measure.
The measure.
Because that was the measure of the length of your life. Yes. Oh, I get goosebumps.
Did make you think about that. Would I want to know? Would I want to look at the string? Would I want to know if I'm going to die tomorrow? Or
would this make a difference in who I partner up with? Who I have kids with?
Yeah.
But
I would like to know.
It says it's only 11% better than the models that already exist. So if the models that already exist can only predict, they didn't give me an actual certainty. They didn't give any of those numbers. And any time that things say, like, this was one of the things that I really benefited from when I was in like research methods and statistics in school, that when something says 11% better than the previous model, that's only 11% better than whatever that number is. It doesn't mean that it is 11%.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You know what I mean? Like it's like a smaller. So,
but
it could be very
if you're
small.
an insurance company, that's a lot of money, right?
It 11%. Did say yes, absolutely, and it did say that it was extremely accurate on predicting personality traits, which that I believe even more. You could tell my whole fucking personality from very little data.
Yeah, you don't really obscure it. I mean,
that's true.
It's out there.
It's out there. So literally on my shirt. So
well, I love that they're like, but hey, insurance companies don't use it.
That's anytime an AI or tech company like ends the article with, "Don't worry, we're not going to do anything bad." I instantly think they're nefarious and up to no good.
Absolutely.
And so far, I've been pretty fucking right.
Yeah. Yeah. You've learned a thing or two.
Yeah, history shows. So, yeah.
All right.
Well, there you go, folks.
There you go.
What did we learn today?
We learned the difference between pleasure and enjoyment, which I thought was helpful. I do find it funny that you are like starting to use baby talk. Maybe that means you need a dog.
I've said this.
Eli's not. Or what about the cat?
Listen, I was so close to. I wasn't so close. I tried my darnest to talk Eli into getting a street dog from Mexico. I was like, look at that one. And there was one that was. Eli was like, "Why do you like? What about just like a rescue from the States?" I'm like, "Nope, different. You know why? Because look at all these dogs. Every single dog out in the street, no leash, sitting right next to their owner at dinner." I was like, you think any dog in the United States, they're born knowing how to do this, that they just go, oh, that's my person. I sit by. This one dog was the cutest thing I ever saw. And it looked like a puppy. And I was like, that dog is so good for a puppy. I can't even believe it. And Eli goes, that's got to be a grown-up dog. This dog looked like it was 6 months old, 5 years old.
Aw.
I'm like, oh, I'm going to kidnap that dog. Ah!
Well, what about the idea of a cat? You toyed with that idea.
Yeah, I should do that. We should get one.
That would really
should get me
be
a
nice.
cat for my birthday.
Yeah, because you know how you have a big surgery coming up.
Yeah, I do.
After that, I think it would be so nice if you had a little cuddle partner.
I need one.
A little
I
fur
should get
ball.
a cat. It's been too long.
A nice
I need
black
a cat
witchy
right
cat.
now.
Whoa, this really got we went from 0 to 100. Wow.
Now I'll die if I don't. I don't mean to be dramatic, but I will die if I don't have a cat.
What just happened in your brain?
I just realized how important that is. What I need one to cuddle with for after that, and I need one. Like, what if I can never have a baby ever? Then I need a cat.
Absolutely. What do you think these cat ladies are all about?
Oh, I get it.
And there's a reason why they seem real happy. It's because it's great. Yeah. And you can still go on trips.
Yeah, take my uterus, but give me a cat.
Yeah, it's the least you can get.
It's the least I could get. Yeah, exactly.
I do think you would be so happy.
I will be. I'm getting a cat. Yes.
Oh my gosh. Okay, great.
This is fun.
Okay, good. Okay, and we also talked about wildflowers and how they're in cells and weird.
Yep.
They're not so wild anymore.
Some therapists called it solitary sex. Solitary sex is funnier than solo sex. Solo sex, I imagine somebody just humping like American Pie, like you're just humping a mattress.
Solitary is like prison. Solitary confinement.
Just call it masturbating. Be normal.
Please. And then, Sarah's decided to let things be left alone. Leave no trace.
Leave no trace.
We should all be happy
I'm growing up.
I do think we've grown so much on this show over 8 years, really both of us. So cool.
We really, really have. Yeah. Settling
onward
into
and
my
upward.
Old, witchy, childless, cat-loving ways.
Yeah, just like she's settling into it.
Yeah.
All right.
Gray hair's growing.
I'm glad you're here for this journey.
Yes.
We'll see you next time. Bye.